Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program, Kerbal Space Adventures. We have taken a flight to the moon, we've orbited the moon, we've done a lot of EVA science around the moon, and we even put up the first part of a space station. Now, we're not going back to the moon until I am satisfied with the science we've acquired from Kerbin. More or less, we're not going back to the moon until we have gotten the correct parts to land a lander on the moon. I'd like to land a lander on the moon. I mean, we can land a Kerbal on the moon, no problem. We can land, we can just put a Kerbal on the moon and be done with it, but we really don't feel like that's worthy of the Kerbal in question. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to create a ship that we can put up into the atmosphere and then bring back down with a Kerbal inside, so we can do a suborbital flight, basically is what we're going to do. But we're not going to fly planes, because you guys have seen how I fly planes. Kerbals tend to die when I fly planes, and that's never, ever a good thing. And so because of that, instead of flying an airplane, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking a single-podded ship here, which I'm trying to make eloquently. We're going to take a single-podded ship here. Let's go ahead and switch these around a little bit. And we're going to take this up into a suborbital flight, and then we're going to bring it right back down onto Kerbin at the North Pole. Hopefully at the North Pole. Yeah, worst comes to worst, we don't really make it to the North Pole, but we make it near the North Pole. And regardless of that, even if the ship itself or parts of the ship don't survive, the Kerbal contained inside should be absolutely fine. So let's go ahead and do a couple of these. I think that would be, that'd be probably better underneath. So let's go ahead and put a heat shield. Now we have the larger heat shield for safety purposes. I kind of want to go with that one, but it's hard to get that one into the atmosphere. And it causes kind of an issue when you try. The smaller heat shield will probably work better, but if our temperature rises too high, bits and pieces of the ship will, of course, fly off. I think we'll go with the smaller one. The worst part that we might lose off the ship will be the... And it's fighting me really bad because the nodes are so close together. The worst part what we may lose is maybe the parachutes and this. And the parachutes may seem like a lot, but worst comes to worst, our Kerbal crashes horribly into the ground, right? We hope that doesn't happen, but that is the worst that can happen, but that can happen on any day. Now, as we can see, there's really not much else we need from here. We have everything we need. We do have the Reflectron DP-10, which is a nice little thing, but we're taking a Kerbal, a live Kerbal up with us, so we don't have to worry about that. We really need to get a satellite system up and running. The downside is we do not have the correct components to get an automated ship out into a high orbit. Now for this, we don't have any, well, I haven't saved any of our launch platforms, so we don't have any decent launch platforms per se, but we should get something pretty basic up and running. If we're good. I'm not entirely sure what basic is at this point. I guess just a couple of two-tone, wait, why are you fighting me? There you go. Two-sided here you go. Here we go. We'll do something like this. Something basic like this. This is all we really need. There's really nothing spectacular that's needed here. So we want to ditch this, which then goes to that, which then we'll do the parachutes rather than the fire. So that works really well for us without too big of a problem. Now we're not going to asparagus this up. It should work just fine as a fuse, I hope. If it doesn't work as a fuse, we will know. But mostly it should work as a fuse just fine. Now again, this is not the only one we're going to send up. This is going to be basically kind of a test flight to see how well it flies, but we're going to try to get it to the North Pole. If it doesn't make it to the North Pole, we can get some readings from somewhere else, say the grasslands or something like that, because we do have this new scientific gear. We do have a new temperometer, a new thermometer for these of taking temperatures from whatever we might be taking temperatures from. In this case, probably somewhere between here and the North Pole. So very basic, very basic fuse type system. So we're going to say Kerbal Space Program. Of course, it's going to be Kerbal Space Adventure, not Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Adventures, and we're going to call this thing Hopscotch 1. There's no planet I really think will work for Hopscotch. I mean, we can say we're using Moho as sort of the Mercury equivalent, but there's really nothing you can do for this kind of launch. I mean, it's an ICBM. It's basically what we're doing, and honestly, Hopscotch works just fine. So we're just going to go with the Hopscotch 1. Now, you guys did say that I missed out on the ribbon ceremony last time, and I do apologize for that. So we had Doom. Doom came back. We had Eric, Feels Like Gaming. Who was our second pilot? Wasn't Lothfar, was it? Oh, I do not remember now who our... Was it Master Prey was our second pilot? Dangerous EVA ribbon. Okay, Stable Orbit. G46 ribbon, Splashdown ribbon. Kerbal EVA ribbon and Kerbal orbit ribbon. I believe this was Master Prey, was the gentleman, our pilot, who delivered the ship into upper orbit, upper atmosphere. And so because of that, what we're going to do is we're going to select a new Kerbal. Oh, I should do this better. Lad will be our first pilot. Oops, don't do that. Lad is going to be our first pilot. So let us go ahead. Well, we need to actually find Lad now on the list. Oops, my bad. I guess I should have done it over here. That's where I usually do it. I don't know why I thought I did it over there. Lad, are you in here, friend? Now, a few people have asked to be added since the last video. There you are, Lad. Perfect. Lots of courage. No minimum stupidity. That's okay. Lots of people have been asked to be added to the Kerbal Space Adventures since the last video. It does take me a little bit of time to get everybody in. Please, if you don't see your name, don't panic. I most likely wrote it down and then lost my list. So, we're going to go ahead and have Lad go out. Now, we're going to try to aim for the North Pole. If we miss, it won't be the worst thing that's ever happened. But, you know, it might be. So, we'll see how that works. So, where is Kerbal Engineer? We didn't put on Kerbal Engineer. Oopsie. Let us go ahead and put on Kerbal Engineer and then see if this thing can even make it into orbit. I think about it, that might be the better of the two ideas, rather than what I was going to do, which is launch it without doing that, because I had thought I'd placed it, but apparently I did not. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, 4,444 can almost make it into orbit with a thruster rate ratio of 1.8. That is actually not bad considering. Now, unfortunately, Lad has probably just been removed from the cockpit, but that is okay, and the reason why that's okay is because we need to add our scientific mojo here. So we're going to say a log temperature for 5, 6 is going to be our materials bay, and 7 will be our goo canister. I think 8 will be our crew report, and that will be all. And then, of course, I think it went back to, yes, Dookie Holiday, who I will get back in the cockpit soon. Unfortunately, again, being at the very top of the list, you kind of miss that bell curve with regards to who's going and who's not. But we'll try to force some people in there for safety's sake. So Lad's going to go, and because this is an untested launch vehicle, we will, of course, be launching it with everybody watching, because that's the most exciting part. So I'll see you guys out there on the launch pad. Alright everybody, slight change of plans. I just realized we hadn't gotten any data from the Kerbal Desert, and Kerbal Desert is a lot closer and a lot easier to get to than the North Pole, and so because of that, we are actually going to send Lad to the west. Yes, we're going to send Lad to the west to the desert and see if he makes it. That'll be a much better test of this, much closer. That way, if he misses, he'll at least hit the mountains, right? That's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and throttle up. Now it's a thruster rate ratio of 1.8, so we're going to throttle up a little bit higher than normal just in case. We're going to go. Now as soon as we go, we are going to tilt slightly because it is a very light rocket, but we will be using a lot of fuel to get to where we need to go. So let's go ahead and go. There you go. Oop. I don't have my my SAS turned on. That's why we're having a little bit of problems with the whole rocket getting to where it needs to go bit. Alright, so it looks like we don't have enough upward thrust. Let's go ahead and increase our upward thrust. Yeah, so this thing's probably not going to make it quite as far as I had originally hoped. But we'll see how far we get. Worst comes to worst, we get a few temperature readings from places we've already been. Lad, of course, not super stoked about the idea, but he's a little bit happier than most. Luckily for us, the ship has not yet exploded. That's always a bonus. Then again, it is just a very, very basic fuse system. I do love these new contrails with this mod, the visual enhancement mod that I've installed. It's not texture replacer, it's a new mod. I'm sure it's been listed in the comments. If you guys are curious, check one of the older videos. Those comments are usually upvoted by viewers to inform everyone what my mods are, so then people can be like, hey, what mods are you using? What's going on? And everyone will be like, hey, here, check this out. It's usually posted once or twice every few videos, so it shouldn't be too big a deal. There we are going through the cloud layer. Now, a lot of people might say, well, KB, why don't you just use an airplane? Well, one, airplanes are really hard to record. They're extremely hard to record because you have to record all of it and then show the best bits. And 4 hours of flying around Kerbal is way too much for 20-30 minutes of video. Although, you know, that's kind of a lie because my videos are usually a lot longer than 20-30 minutes. But you guys get my point. It takes a lot of work for just a teeny tiny bit of output. Additionally, I have in the past, and will continue to do so in the future if requested, kill a multitude of pilots in an attempt to get them into the air using airplanes. I've tried. It doesn't matter whether I'm using a prop mod, whether I'm using a full-on, I don't know why everything's suddenly slowed down, but it did. Whether I'm using a prop mod or something else, the game and I do not get along as it pertains to planes. I will always kill at least 5 Kerbals trying to get a single plane into the air, and as soon as I get into the air, it'll fly for like a minute and a half before it blows up again. So please note that it's not because I don't like airplanes, it's just because I'm not good at it, and I like to keep my body count low. Alright, so there we are, flying over the mountains. I don't think we're going to make it to the desert because I did not fly this like I normally would yet. It's really interesting when you do a suborbital flight. If you are aiming for a suborbital flight, you will usually miss. As I've just demonstrated, we have 4,444 delta V. We should have enough to get up into orbit, yet we are not doing that. We are actually coming in shallow, very shallow, and the reason being is because I did not tilt and turn like you're supposed to when doing an orbital style flight, which is hilarious. And it looks like we're speeding up a little bit fast. I might want to bring that down a little bit in case of fire, because we're only at 23 kilometers, but we're doing 1,200 meters per second. We're going to run out of speed here really quick once those engines cut out. So let's go ahead and cut those, or wait for those to cut, and ditch the thing. So yeah, we barely even made it over the mountains, which is unfortunate. We will of course be coming back down very violently, apparently. Let's go ahead and just roll off the top of that. Go away. Go away. I don't want to be your friend. Go away. We'll kill our engines, and we'll turn off our SAS and let the air do the rest. Now, it should pull us into a very stabilized drop. Okay, there you go. Rolling a little bit, but we should be okay. That goo canister is, of course, going to keep us at a funny angle, regardless of everything else. So yeah, this is a very suborbital flight. Don't think we'll make it to the... We'll probably hit the ocean. But hey, we'll get some material base from the ocean, we'll get some stuff like that. While we're falling back down to the planet, and Lad is, of course, panicking horribly about what's going to happen to him, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about what's coming up in the future of Kerbal Space Adventure Season 8. Originally, I didn't have an idea of what to do. I was lost in the fog, and I thought to myself, well, as long as we need to get science, what we can do is we can go ahead and just collect science. That's what we'll do. We'll just collect science, and that is how we will roll, and that is what we will do. And I did perform that action. We are collecting science. But I realized in the last 3 videos, my screenshot is exactly the same thing. It is a large ship in orbit around Kerbin. That's kind of my fault because I didn't really check. And it's becoming harder to check and change the thumbnails that YouTube uses. But additionally, it is because we've been flying the same flights over and over and over again. This would be really nice if we did hit the desert. We might actually come close. The issue is that I really didn't have a goal. I just thought to myself, hey, if we just get science, we can just keep getting science and keep getting science and keep getting science. Maybe we'll grab some asteroids, get some science from that, do that, you know, just basically fill up the tech tree like we've been doing in the past. Not fun, I found. I work better with goals, and I thought, what could be a really good goal for this season of Kerbal Space Adventures? And I figured out what it is. Now, it's going to be secret, of course, like all my goals, all my things, it's going to be super secret. I'm not going to tell you guys anything of what it is. You can guess, you can do whatever you want. I know you guys love to guess. Like I say, oh, KB, I know what you're going to do. It's going to be this, right? It's going to be that. Not going to tell you. Not going to tell you. What we are going to do is we are going to have a whole lot of fun because we are going to need a lot of science to get done what we need to get done. So we are still getting science. That is still our main purpose for playing this particular version of Kerbal Space Adventures. But... those are clouds. That is not ground. It fools you into thinking you're over ground. We are not over ground. I kind of like how the clouds fool you into thinking you're over ground. There's no ground there. The desert doesn't start until over there, and there's the edge there. So we're gonna miss, but that's okay. We'll get desert science, or excuse me, water science, ocean science. But yes, absolutely. I want you guys to know that you know what we need to do. We need to check our there we go. Temperature scan while flying over Kerbin's waters. I completely forgot to do that. Let's go ahead and keep that data since we're here. We have fire coming in. Let's see if we can get our nose down to where we don't have... Okay, so the fire's gone. Now we're just back in the air. Yes, so again, I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what we're doing, but what we're going to do is we are going to just collect a lot of science. We're going to need a lot of science because we do still need to get to the end of the tech tree to perform the actions that the thing that I wish to perform, the goal that I wish to aspire to. And with that... please note that we're probably not going to make any long-term bases anywhere. I know that you guys really like long-term bases places. Bases places? Yes, bases places. You guys really like it when I put bases in locations outside of Kerbin. But most likely we will not be doing that because it will be less functional overall than what I would like to do of course. Now, I think we have a crew report. Now, the crew report shouldn't do us any good. We should be full up. Oh, okay, crew report are flying over Kerbin's water. Apparently, we have not gotten a crew report while flying over Kerbin's water. I guess the few times that we came back, we were so low on food and water that I completely forgot to do that. So we were very, very short of the desert. We basically landed right in the middle of the ocean, so this is going to take a couple more tries. And for these launches, I think we'll skip the build part. The build is something I will edit myself. And I think each Kerbal, each flight will be taken by a different Kerbal, just to make sure that we get a few Kerbals up and about. Now, of course, yeah, I know you guys are like really looking forward to the ribbons and things like that. Please note that this isn't a way to get you guys away from your ribbons. Okay, the ribbons are there mostly to show me who's gone on flight. So if you guys are looking for a specific ribbon, like first Kerbal on whatever, please don't. Mystery Goo observation while flying at Kerbin. Well, you know what? We'll keep that. We'll keep that for now. Flying at Kerbin's not a bad gig, actually. I could almost bring 2 of those on board. Maybe get the same thing. I do like how this thing comes down, though. Anyway, so just so you guys know, the ribbons are mostly there to tell me which one of you have gone on a flight. So if you guys are looking for specific ribbons and things like that, please note that they're not really there so that people can be like, hey, I was the first Kerbin to do this, hey, I was the first Kerbin to do that. Remember, I select the Kerbal randomly. It's a random Kerbal, just to make sure, one that we haven't flown before, just to make sure that everyone gets a chance to fly. I do like the ribbons, they're really awesome ribbons, but I'm not looking towards making anyone stand out over anybody else, I promise. Now, let's bring this thing down a little bit faster. But yes, I do want to go back to the fact that we do have a new goal, a new project. I love projects, a new project to work towards. I think you guys are going to be super stoked about it. I am super stoked about it. We could almost complete most of it right now. But I think that would give too much of it away. And so because of that, we're not going to complete most of it. The big part, the big core part we have to worry about is comes later, and that's when we are going to have to worry about. So let's go ahead and observe our material bay. You expose the material samples to the environment, taking notes on how it behaves. Okay, it's only 10 science. I mean, it's not very much science, but we are okay with that. And the reason why we're okay with that is because Lad is okay with that. Okay, nothing there. If we let go and have Lad stand up, now he's not splashed, which is great. So if we have him do an EVA report, I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? Nope. And if we take a surface sample, we get 2.3 science out of it because we've already taken this sample. You scoop up a small sample of the surface. It's a very humid sample. You hope the equipment has been properly waterproofed. Indeed. Let's go ahead and store our samples. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dump into the water. Bloop, like this. And we're going to have them swim around. And if we do another EVA report, well, we've already gotten this one, so that's no good. Go ahead and take a surface sample again. And we have this one, so it's 3 science from here. You've taken a sample of the water. It appears to dramatically increase the surface humidity of anything it touches. Now I also want to tell you guys that Kerbal Engineer is online. It is ready to go. It is working, which is really, really nice. You guys can hear it. I think I have it set a little bit too fast, so they're constantly talking. I will actually increase that so they're not talking so much at the same time that I'm talking. Oh, I don't want to have to select 2 people at the same time. Come on. Get back in the boat, please. I don't think he's going to get back in the boat. But yes, I will correct that, I think. Alright, well, we're going to have to do 2 recoveries, so let's go ahead and return back to the base. I will show you the recovery for the ship. That way we get the most science out of it, because Lad is only going to have about 3 science on him. So I will see you guys back at base once we've recovered the ship. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, here we are on the map screen, and I have recovered the vessel. It looks like we got 31.6 science for it, bringing us up to a total of 88 science, which is great. While we're here, we'll take a look at our notices here, and it looks like Lad. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Lad has. Gotta remember my ABCs here. Here it is. Lad has a G-Force 6 ribbon, of course. Everyone gets a G-Force 6 ribbon. He's got a splashdown ribbon, awarded for splashdown of a vessel in water, and Kerbal Surface EVA ribbon. So a nice little set of ribbons there just for him to work on. So we'll do that again. I'm going to redesign the ship slightly. I'll do that off camera, and then I will see you guys on the launch pad. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, here we are out on the launch pad, and as you can see, I added a secondary stage to the ship. It doesn't add much in the way of delta V, but it does add more thrust rate ratio on the second stage, which should help push us into the orbit that we need, or suborbit that we need, in order to get to the desert. We also have Joseph Arlou as our pilot, which is going to be super duper great. So let's go ahead and take Joseph, and let's just go ahead and launch. We'll do max thrust for, well, lack of a better reason. Now, because of the way this is done up, we are going to try to launch in such a manner that will propel us towards... Oh, we don't have our SAS unit on again, which is pushing us kind of sideways. So, as I was saying, We are going to try to launch this as if we were going into orbit in order to make a suborbital flight. Hopefully what that will get us is the ability to land in the desert without losing out all that thrust from the wind resistance that we've been getting with a smaller vessel. One would hope. Of course, if it doesn't work, we will have to redesign it again. Initial launch stage, like every time I add an initial launch stage, it feels like I'm just adding more weight rather than adding anything useful. But we'll go ahead and we'll hope for the best. Joseph, of course, is not very happy with what's happening here. Can we get a temperature sample? My temperature is 5, right? Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. I think we can get one from high up in orbit, so I think what we'll do is we will go as high as we can. Oh, there's the cloud layer. We will do an actual orbital flight, try to get up as high as we can into suborbit, and then as soon as we get into suborbit, we will do our very best. Okay, there goes our first stage. That looks so cool from here. We will do our very best to get our hands on, there's our 9,000 mark, so let's go ahead and just tilt over all the way to 90. We're just going to go straight over to 90 because we have the thrusting power to do it. There we go. Let's turn on Kerbal Engineer, which I apparently turned off just before launch. So yeah, we're going to try to get some science up here in orbit. Hopefully we can get some, I hope, without too much difficulty. Now, we want enough of a push to the left to get us over the desert without losing out a lot of our thrust. So what we're going to do is, because I know the desert kind of extends in this direction, we are in fact going to push our nose this way just a teeny tiny bit to get our orbit slightly off. We're not going for equatorial for any given reason, so because of that I would like to have our orbit slightly off in order to ensure that we get as far as we need to go. So we are going up. For whatever reason, whenever we cross the upper cloud layer, the frame rates drop really badly. I think it's loading a texture, maybe Kerbin's upper layer texture or something similar to that, and so it's causing a massive lag. I do apologize for that. I don't know what causes it. It goes away after a minute, so I think it's just loading a texture and it gets all upset that a texture is being loaded and it doesn't know what to do with itself. Okay, so our current trajectory is at 70, or apoapsis, not trajectory, 80 kilometers. So we're at 80 kilometers with a little bit of extra fuel. We're not going to do anything here, but what we are going to do is we're going to take a look at a couple of items. We're reusable items, of course. We're going to take a look at our crew report, which is going to say nothing, but if we take a look at our temperature gauge, Kerbin's upper atmosphere, excellent. Collected and recorded temperature from the environment. We'll keep that. We'll collect that when we land, and then that way when we land and collect it, we can reuse the temperature gauge for something better. Downside is this is not really a landing craft. I mean, it will land, but well, you know, the way it lands, it might land sideways. So that might actually be a thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Mystery Goose, see if we can get any science out of that. 1.6, not really a lot. Our materials bay is going to be 17.5, but the desert's probably going, well, the desert will probably give us less, but it's harder to hit a desert than it is to hit the upper atmosphere, in my opinion. And so because of that, we're going to go ahead and keep coasting. Now, we have until 79 kilometers to get to where we're going. I think what we're going to do is we're going to push it just a little bit further, orbital-wise. Just for safety's sake, we're going to go a little bit further this way. Okay, just a little bit, teeny tiny bit further. And we just hit 70 clicks, so Joseph is going to EVA. And the reason he's going to EVA is because we need that data from the thermometer. And if he doesn't EVA and get it, we're going to have to get it a different way. So let's go ahead and drop down and get it from here. And that way we can make absolutely sure he can get it. I'm losing control of our little friend here. There you go. Can we get that, buddy? Take data. Perfect. Can you do an EVA report from out here? EVA report. You can, but there's nothing good. Alright, so there's nothing good in the EVA report, which is fine. But Joseph gets his first real excellent ribbon, which is his dangerous EVA, because he is doing an EVA without actually being in orbit. It is a non-orbital EVA, a very scary thing to do, I'm sure. Knowing that if you don't get back to your vessel, you will be crashing back to the planet without any sort of aid or assistance. So there's the desert there. We will be reaching our, okay, we've just reached our apoapsis. Or almost reaching our, oh, we got a few hundred meters to go. And I think we're just going to push it a little bit further. Again, I'm being paranoid. We have the fuel for it, so there's no problem. Worst comes to worst, we overshoot, right? And then all we have to do is open our parachutes, and the drag will slow us down. So I don't want to undershoot. I would like to overshoot if we can, just a teeny tiny bit, just to make sure that we can make it down. Because we're only halfway over the ocean, roughly. We're already coming back down. So let's go ahead and kick in a little bit more juice, just a teeny tiny bit more juice. Little puffs of flame out there pushing us along. Joseph, very happy to be in orbit, of course. Again, not in orbit, suborbital. He's in a suborbital flight. But he's very happy to be there as well, I'm sure. Okay, it looks like we missed the desert arm a little bit, so we're going to push as much as we can just to make sure we make it. Oops. Maybe I pushed a little too far. Maybe not. Hard to say. So there's the desert. Okay, here's the desert edge. It's so hard to see with these clouds. Here's the desert edge. And I think it extends out this way, but it's so hard to tell. It does look like we're heading kind of towards the mountains. Worst comes to worst, we land in the mountainous regions. I don't think we will, but we might. Okay, it looks like we're coming down. I might have pushed it a little hard. But, of course, that's the way it goes. Do we have a little bit of fuel left? Yeah, so there's the desert there. You can see the edge of it right there. And I think that I think this is desert there. Yeah, that's a desert that extends that way. But this is the main body of the desert here. We might be a little bit hefty. A little bit high up. But we have the fuel to slow us down if we need to. Worst comes to worst, as I said, we hit mountains, which are here, but there's desert all along through here, which we can hit. As long as we don't hit ocean again, we'll get a lot more science than we did before. So let's put our tail where it belongs, right there at the other end. And we will come back down. Now, unfortunately, we don't get any kind of EV reports or crew reports from here because we are in the upper atmosphere. Nothing really spectacular about that. We've already done all of those. Observe our mystery goo. It is only 1.6 science, again, above in the upper atmosphere. Okay, so there's the desert below. Looks like we're going to hit right into the middle of the desert. I hope. Again, we can always slow down if we need to, but no real reason to. Now, maybe a small reason to, considering we're now crossing over. Ooh, yeah, might have overshot a little bit. Might have been a teeny tiny bit overzealous. If we hit in near one of these pockets of water, we might even be able to get splashed down on desert, which is an interesting combination because you can get science. Okay, we are overshooting, so let's go ahead and slow ourselves down with a little bit of thrust here to get ourselves slowed down, because I'd hate to land in the ocean so close to our destination. It would be so upsetting. Because the desert's like right here. We're over the desert. I mean, we overshot a little bit, but we're over the desert. We should be perfectly fine. Alright, so there we go. There we go. Bring it down. I don't want to open the parachutes yet. If we hit that little puddle of water right there, I'm going to be so upset. So upset. I think we're going to. I think we're honestly going to hit one of those little lakes. Those little bitty lakes there. I mean, we're technically straight up over the top of that, but we probably... Oh, wow, really? Are we really going to hit one of those teeny tiny lakes? Can we overshoot it just a little bit? I mean, I've always wanted to land in a lake, but I mean coming back from another planet land in a lake, not just a suborbital flight that misses the window and smashes into the water. Oh, come on, just a little bit further. All right, Joseph, you're going to have a little bit of a danger moment here, because what we're going to do is we're going to let you coast sideways until we absolutely have to open your parachutes, because I would very much like to... Oh, wow, we did. We hit the only bay by the ocean. This is it. This is the only bay in the ocean. We hit it. This is it. We're gonna land like right next to it. Okay. I think we're gonna have Joseph swim to land and grab a surface sample while he's out here. That might be what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna have him grab a surface sample while he's out here. If for no other reason, because he can. Let's go ahead and open our parachute. That's probably gonna hit land, right? Nope, it hits water too. Okay, so yeah, we landed really close to water, or really close to land, but we still landed over water. This is gonna be bad. All right, so let's go ahead and observe our material base since we're here. And this will give us the less resilient samples appear to have splattered around the interior, forming new and interesting color combinations. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and grab that. We'll keep that data. On top of that, does our mystery goo give us anything new here? It does not. 1.6. Maybe it'll give us something new in the water. Do we have, I think our temperature gauge, log temperature is, we're flying over Kerbals deserts. Oh, we are technically over Kerbals deserts. Excellent. Okay, cool. Interesting. Collected and recorded the temperature data from the environment. We will keep. I don't really want to EVA just in case there's a problem. Let's go ahead and check our crew report. There you go. Crew report: while flying over Kerbals deserts, the heat rising from the sand causes the desert to move and shimmer. So even though we're technically over the ocean, we are getting desert samples, which is really interesting. Again, if you do a splash, this is going to be considered splashdown because we hit the water, but because we are in a desert biome, it's going to give us a very interesting result in the fact that if we take a surface sample while standing, and then another surface sample while splashed down, it gives you two different recordings. Let's go ahead and turn that off and then speed this up a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit to get us down there. So it will in fact give you two different samples, which I find interesting. The downside is I don't think we can get splashdown data from water like we should. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. And splash. Excellent. Alright, so let's go ahead and EVA, and we will let go. Alright, now we are standing on the pod, so we're not technically splashed. We'll do an EVA report. EVA report from Kerbals deserts. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here. Probably not. We slipped off. We will take a surface sample. Lots of sand and rocks here. You're thankful that you've been in a climate-controlled environment because it looks like it's hot out there. The sand is dry and loose, and it looks like it's going to take some effort to clean your gear afterwards. Alright, so it looks like we unfortunately fell into the water here. I would love to get back up on top of the ship, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I think we are in such a position as the ship will not let us back on board. So that causes a bit of a problem. Yes. And is there any way to get the science from the temperometer from here? Well, we can store our we can store our samples. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get EVA report splashed. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here. Same thing. Can we put that in there since we were on the ship? Yes, we can. So that's a splashed EVA report as well as a dry EVA report. I think our surface sample was splashed, though. You collected a sample of the surface, keep data, and if we put that in here, will that fit? Okay, cool. So we do have two samples. We get a sample from splashed and a sample from dry land. Both very epic. Downside is we don't get our materials bay. Unfortunately, because the materials bay was opened above. The mystery goo unit I don't think was opened. Oh, I wish we could get back inside. We need to put ladders on the side of this thing so we can climb back inside when it lands or something. I don't know, but... So it looks like we're going to go ahead and collect Joseph. We're also going to collect the pod. We'll check the science that we got. We won't be able to get an additional temperature gauge from it, but we should be able to get a few other things. So we're going to go up a little bit more science. It's going to be a little bit slow going. Again, we're going to do, I think, one more of these, and the next one I think we'll head for the North Pole and see how close we get. And then I'm going to see like how long we've been recording. So I don't want to do too many of these and be really, really boring. But I'm going to go ahead and grab Lad. Excuse me, not Lad. I'm going to go ahead and grab Joseph. We're going to grab the pod, and then we're going to head back. So I will see you guys back at base. Alright everyone, we have recovered the Hopscotch 2, and we got 60.1 science out of it, which is a pretty beastly amount considering we did get splashed and landed science. Now if we take a look at here, we can actually see that we got surface sample from Kerbin, or from Kerbin's deserts there, and then it should say we got another surface sample, right? Let's see. Yeah, surface sample from Kerbin's deserts worth 0.3, and a surface sample from Kerbin's deserts worth 0.4, and I think 0.4 was the one that splashed. So you can in fact get two if you have a puddle of water. So if you stand in a lake, that's not considered water, but you are considered splash. So you can in fact take two surface samples. So if you ever have a chance to land in a lake to take science, absolutely land in a lake. So let's go ahead and take a look at Joseph's system here. I don't think he got very many awards because, of course, unlike a few of our other pilots, we are doing just routine stuff here. But, oh, Joseph's got a few. Okay, so he has a Dangerous EVA ribbon. Excellent. A G-Force 6 ribbon. A Splashdown ribbon. A Kerbin Surface EVA ribbon. And a Kerbin EVA ribbon. So excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. These are pretty standard for the type of science and type of flights we're doing right now. But that's okay. Now, the next flight, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to skip the build, the launch. And I'm going to bring you guys back during the landing because, of course, the video is getting kind of long. And along with that, I think it's simpler since I showed a build, a launch, and a landing. Then the launch and the landing, and now I might as well just show the landing, right? It seems like a great progression for that type of build. So this time we're going to try to head for the North or South Pole. I like the idea of the North Pole. That way if we miss, we at least hit land rather than more water. We can get some science out of it, and we'll see how that rolls for us. So let's go ahead, and I will see you guys most likely when we're crashing back down to the surface, wherever we're crashing back down to the surface. So I'll see you guys back there. Alright everybody, here we are at the North Pole. Take a look at that. Look at that aurora up there. Isn't that nice? I never even knew you could see that. That is beautiful. I don't even care if we hit the North Pole at this point. We got to see the aurora up here. The greens and the purples. That is beautiful. That is pretty. I have not seen that. That is wonderful. But it does look like we are going to come down over the top of the North Pole, so we did get that bonus as well. But look at that. Now we're coming up underneath it. It turns all the sky purple and green. That's beautiful. Now we aren't going to hit the North Pole exactly, We are going to come in slightly sideways of the North Pole and a little shallow. We're only at 29,000 meters, which kind of makes us a little bit dangerous, but we are going to use our engines again for makeshift heat shields since we have them. Oh, you can see Minmus through the aurora there in the distance. Hey Minmus, how's it going? Little Minmus, which we haven't gone to visit yet. We are coming in as the dark side approaches, so we do get the cloud cover, we get the aurora, we get the burning fiery ship, we get all this wonderful, beautiful stuff, and then of course the dark side of the planet. This is wonderful to see. We are at 19 kilometers and traveling at 1,200 meters per second. I hope that thickens up soon, so that we can burn off that extra speed. There we go. Okay, there we go. We can burn off that extra speed. Look at that. That is so pretty. Can we do a crew report while over the North Pole? Here you go. Crew report while flying over Kerbin's ice caps. You look down and see a sheet of shining white ice. If you stare at it too long, your eyes will start to water. Well, it's dark side now, but I understand where you're coming from. Let's go ahead and slow down our ship just a teeny tiny bit. Might as well. We're coming through the cloud cover now. Oh, there it is. There is our wonderful, wonderful dark side down there, our snow. Oh, well, the aurora's kind of gone. You can kind of see the edges of it up there. I love that. It's so beautiful. Let's go ahead and ditch that. We don't need it anymore. We're about 250 meters, excuse me, 250 meters per second at 8 kilometers up. The ground here is pretty flat, so I'm not too concerned. Let's see if we can get ourselves some readings. Let's observe our mystery goo. 1.6. No, let's get some snow science collected in the recorded temperature data from the environment. We will keep that. We're at 5,000 meters and 182 meters per second. Wow, that got bright fast, didn't it? It's like the sunlight and everything's able to sneak in under all the cloud layer. Thought this was the dark side. It turns out it's just really, really, really dark clouds up here that we're landing through. Okay, we're good for that. Well, we're gonna land on the ice sheet. That's gonna be our big thing. Is we're gonna land before we do too much more science. We may do an EVA over the top. Oh, it's so pretty up here now with the aurora and everything. See this on a clear day. That'd be spectacular to see it on a clear day. All right, here we come. It's interesting to be able to say that in Kerbal Space Program, that you need a clear day to see the sky. Oops. Sounds like a hit. Where are we? Oh, okay, whoa, that was pretty bad there. Let's see if we can roll. Can we roll the ship maybe and turn on the SAS unit? Will that work? Will that hold us stable enough for above orbit EVA? I don't think so. I'm concerned that getting out at this point would be a bad idea. But let's go ahead and EVA anyway. Whoa. Okay, we're going to take all the data. Okay, and we're going to do an EVA report really quick. Boom. This is the most precarious situation. Indeed it is. Let's go ahead and get on board. And I think we can do another crew report once we hit the surface. It's so pretty, all the purples and everything. Oh my god. It's wonderful. If only they could make the clouds glow too at some point, you know, like the sun is rising, that kind of thing, and you have the clouds up there just hanging in the sky. Wonderful. Okay, so it looks like we got some mystery goo already while flying at Kerbin. Oh, it's just flying at Kerbin. It's not flying at Kerbin's pole, so we're fine. Yes, we already got this while flying at Kerbin, so it's not location dependent like a lot of other things are. Now, if we land properly, and by properly I mean slightly sideways and tilted, we should be able to get access to our temperature gauge as well as get back into the pod. So let's go ahead and bring ourselves down just a little bit faster. Be a nice soft, hopefully soft landing right here on the snow. And so we'll just go ahead and tilt the ship slightly just to make sure that we do land roughly the way we want to land rather than flat. Nice little bonus being able to do that. Okay, looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble here, but we should land just sideways enough not to be a problem. And boom. Alright, perfect. Alright, we will have Bo, of course, our pilot. I'm sorry, Bo Witchland was our pilot, of course. Don't want to forget, whoa, don't want to forget that. He's going to be our first Kerbal who EVAs out here onto the snow. Look at him go. Yay, Bo. Alright, so Bo is going to take a surface sample. This isn't really solid ground, is it? You got a sample, but feared you to dig any deeper because of the startling cracking sounds the ice made. Try not to think back on how you landed here. Indeed. So there's some stuff from the ice caps, surface sample from the ice cap. EVA, we have, I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? No, but much like the desert, I'm pretty sure you're happy to have it. Let's walk around back here, kick on our light, because it's kind of dark back here. Let's kick on our light, and we will grab we will store the experiments, I suppose, and we will take that data. Alright, perfect. So that's the temperature data. Now let's go ahead and get back inside the pod. We should be able to just hop up and get back inside the pod without too much. Yep. Not too much problem. Not like when we're in the water. And now that I remembered, we need to observe our material bay. which gives us the water sample has frozen solid, and the goopy samples appear to be extra goopy. 7.5 science, indeed. And then we'll take a temperature gauge as well. Toggle display gives, oops, well, it's 19.76 degrees Celsius, I'm assuming. It's cold enough to freeze water solid, indeed, and make goopy things extra goopy. Observe mystery goo. You observe the goo. Very basic. Alright, so not a huge amount of science. Let's go ahead and recover the vessel, and then we'll see how much science we got out of it. Alright, it looks like we got about 39.2 science with a total of 187. With that, let's head inside the science factory here and see what that can get us in the long run. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these guys. We can get one of these. What should we acquire? We get a lot of solar panels and heat dispensers here. We get some landing gear here. It looks like we get some large orange tanks. Ooh, those large orange tanks could really do us some good. The skipper engine and some of these tanks could do us some good as well as some of these larger support containers. The downside is we have yet to come across those wonderful, wonderful landing pods that I was hoping to look for. It looks like, yeah, again, 300 science for these landing pods. I think we may have to forego not landing on the moon and just land with a tiny, tiny lander of some kind. Or alternatively, we may have to take a trip out to Minmus. It's just a quick trip out to Minmus and do some research out there as well. We can make it to Minmus, I'm pretty sure. Do a quick look around and come right back. So we may have to save that till next time, because doing these teeny tiny ski trips around Kerbin are only going to get us the micro amount of science. And although 3 trips, one almost failed trip, but 3 trips out, getting us only about 130 science is not that great. We can get that much from a couple of EVAs around Minmus or the moon. Again, I'd really like to land on the moon using landing parts, but as you can see, the landing parts are just so far out that it seems like it's nearly impossible unless you milk Kerbin for everything it's worth, which becomes very, very difficult when you're trying to do Kerbal Space Adventures, of course. So I think what we're going to do is next time around we are going to take another ship. We're probably going to use a slightly variation of the Moho, and we're going to take it out to Minmus, and then Minmus is we're going to do a few orbital runs of Minmus, because the Minmus science will get you a lot of science. Even just orbital science will get you a ton of science, and then from that we'll try our very best to land on the moon. I really would like to land on the moon first, and honestly, if I had the time, I would totally revamp this tech tree to where a moon landing is feasible far beyond or far before you have to go all the way out to Minmus just to get some more science. I mean, having your actual landing stuff out here is just so bad. So terrible. Well, you know what? Almost. Hey, I wonder, wait. We did get, no, we did get, didn't we? I'm sitting here complaining, and I'm thinking to myself, we did get that, we do have the lander can, don't we? The tiny lander can? Where is it? Was it in here? No. But we did get it. I know we did. Was it here? Yes, we did. We got the Mark 1 lander can. So if we got the Mark 1 lander can, ooh, wait, you know what? I'm sitting here complaining, and we might actually be able to do this. Those are teeny tiny fuels, not good fuels. Landing gear, which are good. Solar panels, which are decent. Heat dispensers, which I think would be epic, but not super important. We have a couple of landing gears. Some Scoopomatic soil samplers, which we won't need if we take a Kerbal, of course. The LT5 micro landing strut. Do we have any other landing gear? I don't know if we have any other landing gear. We do have this. Okay, we do have the LT1 landing strut. So it looks like, actually, you know what? I'm sitting here complaining, and it looks like we may have all the components that we need for a straight-up moon landing. Yeah, an actual moon landing. That is pretty epic. I did not even realize. It is so bad of me. I was sitting here thinking that we needed... Oh, no, that's right. I wanted to do multiple Kerbals landing on the moon. So, yes, multiple Kerbals landing on the moon. Okay, well... You know what? I think I may have to forego my dream of landing multiple Kerbals on the moon. We may just have to go with a single lander, or we can send a single lander to Minmus and then land multiple Kerbals on the moon, just for the purpose of being thorough. So I'll give the vote out to you guys. You guys tell me. You guys tell me what you think. Tell me if you'd like us to land one Kerbal on Minmus and then multiple Kerbals on the moon, or if you'd like to see one Kerbal land on the moon. I think multiple Kerbals on the moon is much better. It's been a long time since I've flown a multi-Kerbal mission, and has been really little reason to do so. And I was trying to kind of force it, but it looks like doing that is going to take a lot more work over time than it should. But I think initially, if nothing else, what we're going to do is we're going to start up a bootstrap system for our launch platform, our space station, and so we're going to actually grab the skipper engine as well as the Rockomax and these health containers, food containers, things like that. We're going to need those, so we're going to grab that. That's one thing we're going to grab. And then the next thing I think we will grab is we may grab some of these fuel containers. Let's see, what else do we have with a $90 range, a 90 science range? Yeah, we are going to grab these, the fuel tanks, the flat fuel tanks, the Rockomax structural adapter, all these things here. The adapters, the fuel tank tops, all this stuff, we're going to grab that, and that'll give us a few more bonuses here as well. Access to docking ports, which we will probably need in the future, and the Clampotron, which I did not know where that was, and now we know. We know that it is under actuators now. So there's a Clampotron, which that will give us access to asteroid science in the future. And what are we missing down here? Looks like we have 2 objects down here that are missing. Oh, right, I still need to remove the Kerbal Engineer. Keep forgetting to remove those 2 parts for Kerbal Engineer. Completely useless parts, don't like using them. I like the EC700, or ER7500, excuse me. So there it is. So you guys will have to tell me what you think. 1 Kerbal on Minmus, multiple Kerbals on the moon, multiple Kerbals on, or 1 Kerbal on the moon, don't care, whatever. If you want, we can continue with the space station, but it will not have any science generation for a while because we don't have that unlocked. I don't believe we have that unlocked. Let me take a quick look. The mobile processing lab is not the same thing. So yeah, I do not believe that we have the science bay unlocked for... Yes, we do not in fact have the science bay unlocked for that. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and I'm going to plan a mission to either Minmus or the moon. Up to you guys. 1 Kerbal for the moon Minmus or multiple Kerbals for moon. Either way, I think we're going to have to land at least 1 Kerbal on Minmus, so that's the minimum requirements. But I'm sure the video has been long enough for now, and if it hasn't, I need to short them anyway. So for now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and pause here. So once again, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4KB Short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program, Kerbal Space Adventures. And next time, Minmus or the moon, your guys' choice. 1 single Kerbal is the only one who will go. And then in the future, you guys will see the awesomeness that is the project that I have in mind. Yes, the super secret project, because I know you guys love those things so much. And I will see you guys, I'll see you guys there.